Welcome back everyone, I'm Kate Plays Games, this is EVE Online, and today we're going to be asking and answering a very simple question. Can a brand new character complete the Sisters of Eve Epic Arc on the very first day in the game? You see before you a brand new character who has run the introductory tutorial, and on the right hand side all 5 career agents are marked in red, which means they've already been completed. On the top right are all the ships that these career agents gave me, including the one I'm sitting in, this lovely Catalyst Destroyer. On the bottom right is all the loot which I either got as rewards or I found in the wreckage of enemies I destroyed during all these missions, or were rewards from the Air Career program, which we will talk about in a little minute. So what do we need to do to complete the Epic Arc? There are 2 bosses in the Epic Arc right at the end of it. First one is this guy, Kristan Parthus. His special ability is that he drains your capacitor, and that is the energy you need to run everything on your ship. If you run out of cap, all your modules turn off, and then you have a very bad time. So you're going to have to find out a way to counter that. Now you can either build a fit which doesn't need capacitor, that is quite possible in EVE Online, or you build a fit which can fight outside 25 kilometers, because that is the range of his special energy drain ability. So we need something that can fight at 25k. The other boss is this guy, Dagan. He does not hit particularly hard, he doesn't have any particular special abilities other than his massive resistances, and he repairs himself quite often as well. His resistances are not the same, as we see. EM is the highest and explosive is the lowest. If you're fighting explosive and only explosive, then you need something like 130 damage per second to whittle him down. If you're only firing EM, you need something like 150, so I always say go for 150. So we need 150 DPS, and we also need the range at 25. Now getting 150 DPS out to 25k probably isn't going to happen with a brand new character. You won't have enough skills. So we're going to have to build a fit which can be changed. The rest of the Epic Arc is not going to be a problem. So I had to think about skills. Which skills were we going to need to increase the damage? So I had a little think, and we'll have a look at the skill sheet. There's skills in EVE Online. Skills in EVE Online train passively. As we see, this surgical strike says 7 hours 50 minutes. If we drag it into the training queue, the training queue will start, and it will slowly accrue skill points and automatically add them to whichever skills are in the queue, sequentially. So if it was to do surgical strike and then trajectory analysis would not begin until 7 hours 50 minutes has passed and surgical strike is finished. This means that getting to the higher skill levels takes a very long time. However, you can get unallocated skill points, numbers of skill points given to you which you then allocate to any skill just to increase the skill level. There are several ways of doing that. You can buy injectors from the market, like the Daily Alpha Injector. This will give you 50,000 unallocated skill points, but this costs 60 million ISK. That's not great. We have, if we mouse over the wallet, we have 10 million ISK, so we're not going to be buying one of those. A small skill injector, 177 million. Large skill injector, 793 million. Okay, we can rule out skill injectors. There are cerebral accelerators, and these increase the speed at which your skills train. They're 75 million each. Well, these ones are anyway. These ones are 22, these ones are 27, that one's 2.2 billion, but these only speed up the skill training and not by all that much. It means that over the duration of the booster, which is between 2 days and 10 days depending on which booster you get, you'll get a few thousand more skill points. But we can't wait for that. We need to do this Epic Arc today on day 1. But there are 2 other ways we can get unallocated skill points. One of them are these daily goals. You go to the opportunities tab and then you find the daily goals. Now, every day you will get given 5 semi-randomized tasks. If you complete 2 of them, you get 10,000 unallocated skill points. Lovely jubbly. And then each day that you do 2 tasks, it moves this tracker along, and every 3 days you get a special reward, and at the end of day 12 you get a great big whack of skill points, 75,000 for free-to-play players, and Omega players, which is the paid account, get an extra 150,000 on top. And obviously you've got 10,000 for each of the 12 days it took you to get there. But we haven't got 12 days to wait. So we're only going to get 1 day's worth, and that's stuff that we did today. This is actually day 2 for me. That's why I've removed everything from the skill sheet, so nothing trained overnight, just to simulate that I'm still on day 1. Now I said that these tasks are semi-randomised. This complete 3 jumps one is here every day. So every single day you just make 3 Stargate jumps and you get one of your 2 tasks. Today we have destroy 25 NPCs, earn 50 loyalty points for any corporations, scan 5 signatures to 100%, or manufacture an item. These are not difficult tasks, they're very, very easy. It's actually quite hard to not complete 2 of the 5 tasks every day just by playing the game. So I did that with this character yesterday, and we got 10,000 skill points. And up here in the Air Career Program, I got even more rewards. As you see, some of them, well, all of them are progressed a little bit. If we click on these, you'll see you get various tasks, and if you click on market and then click on this, your task is earn 50,000 ISK on the market. The reward is 25,000 ISK and 10 career points. And then the next one's earn 100,000 on the market. You get more money, more career points. Well, that's nice, but what do you do with career points? Career points automatically populate in this tracker down here. And as you see, there are yellow thresholds and white and grey thresholds. The yellow is what Omega full paid account members get, and the grey ones are what we get because we're on a free-to-play alpha. When you get 750 career points, you receive a whacking great big 50,000 unallocated skill points. And then when you get 1,500, you get another 75,000. That's not 25,000 on top of the 50,000, that's another 75,000. And if you look at the top of this little pop-up, we have 915 skill points. I did not try very hard to do this. I basically got this just for completing all the 5 career agents. And that was enough to give us the first threshold. So we have 50,000 unallocated skill points. You can bump it up a little bit more. There's 2 market ones. There's a manufacturing one. You can manufacture a frigate. You are given a frigate blueprint, so you can buy the minerals and do that one if you wish. That'll give you another 15. You can run some basic missions for mining agents and get some more career points that way. They're not difficult to get. These are not difficult tasks. This is basically like the introductory tutorial that introduces players to new things. Just by reading this, you think, oh, scan some wormholes. I can do that. You don't have to enter the wormhole. You just need to scan them. So that's easy to do. You can do that when you're doing all the other scanning ones. So as I said, career points, not difficult to get. So we had a total of 60,000 skill points, and I had to work out what I wanted to spend them on. And what I spent them on was all these skills here. Just organise it by skill. Skill training complete means a skill which actually ran automatically until I had enough skill points accrued to make the first level. So that's what happened with Repair Systems 1 and Gallente Frigate 2. They completed themselves naturally. Everything else with skill points applied means ones I allocated these 60,000 skill points to. Now I put Surgical Strike on level 2 because it gives us a 3% bonus per skill level to the damage of all weapon turrets. You might think, why did I not put that up to level 3? Because each level takes an exponential amount of skill points. That's why almost everything you see is at level 2 or maybe level 3. Small Hybrid Turret I took to level 3 because that's a 5% bonus to small hybrid turret damage. So that's 15%. Remember, we're trying to get to 150 DPS. Repair Systems 1, you do that as part of the tutorial, but that's good because it is required for all the armour repairers, and I'm going to be using an armour repairer, so that's a good thing to have. Rapid Firing, I took to level 3 because that's a 4% bonus to weapon turret rate of fire, so that's 12% more damage by getting 3 levels of that. Gallente Frigate, I took to level 3 simply because level 3 is required for Gallente Destroyer level 1, so I had to do that if I wanted to use a destroyer. And I've got Gallente Destroyer just at level 1, and I'll show you why in a moment. And we got Energy Grid Upgrades level 2, because level 2 unlocks Capri Chargers and Reactor Control Units and Power Diagnostics and lots more capacitor stuff. Level 3 would have been nice to get Flux Coils, but for an armour tank, Capri Chargers are better, that's why I stopped at level 2. So that is how I allocated all 60,000 of my skill points. Our total skill points is only 451,956. And I'm not training any more skills, so that's all the skill points we're going to have on this character, because I want to see if we can do the Sisters of Eve Epic Arc. If we have a look at our Destroyer, per level of Gallente Destroyer skill, we get a 10% bonus to small hybrid turret tracking speed, that is accuracy, and 10% bonus to small hybrid turret fall off, that's range. So range and accuracy, I mean, they're nice things to have, but I'd rather spend my skill points on things like rapid firing or gunnery or small hybrid turret, which actually do increase my damage. And that is what I did. And let's have a look at the fit I made for the ship. Here it is, we'll just simulate that. In the high power slots, we have a full rack of 8 125mm compressed coil gun 1s. If you look at the info on the compressed coil gun and scroll down, these are meter level 3. Meter level being a numeric guide as to the quality of the item. Tech 1 items run from meter level 0 to meter level 4. Meter level 5 is Tech 2, which requires a lot of skill training, and meter level 6 to 18, or whatever the maximum is all your Dead Space officer faction gear, which cost multi-hundreds of millions per module. And the cost is why I've gone for meter level 3 and not meter level 4. Meter level 4 is prototype Gauss gun, and when we look at those on the market, they're about 600,000 each. And I had to buy 8 of them, so that's why I didn't buy those. The ones we have are the compressed coil gun. Look at these in the market, 162,000, much cheaper, like much cheaper, but not all that much less performance. So we've got a full rack of those in the high slots. Mid power slots, 1 meganewton compact afterburner and a small compact cap battery to give us more capacitor. And that's so we can run this enduring armor repairer and the afterburner and the guns, because hybrid guns do require capacitor. Activation cost is capacitor, so each gun every cycle, so each gun every 2 seconds requires 1.15 gigajoules. And we've got 8 guns, so that's a significant amount of gigajoules every 2 seconds. Speaking of guns, we've got 2 compact magnetic field stabilizers, each of which increase the rate of fire by 9.5%. and the damage by 8%. That's why it's a 1.08 modifier. There's 2 of these, and that means they're stacking penalising each other because they're both trying to increase the same thing. The first one will get 9.5 and 1.08. The second one will get 87% of that, so it's not a huge issue. If you put more than 3 or 4 modules in, it becomes a problem, but 2 is absolutely fine. And in the rig slots, I've simply got 3 capacitor control circuit 1s to give us enough capacitor that we're stable. Ammunition wise, as we see when we mouse over, we have antimatter charge S, that's the high damage short range ammo. And with this setup, with all the skills I invested our 60,000 skill points in, we are scraping just over the line. We have 156.5 DPS. That's good enough. We could spend some money and buy some either Caldari Navy or Federation Navy antimatter charge S. They do exactly the same thing. See, Caldari Navy, 5.75 thermal and 8.05 kinetic, and if I hold shift and open the Federation Navy in a new window, we will see they are exactly the same stats. The only difference is where you get them from. Caldari Navy, you get in Caldari Space's loyalty point stores, and Federation Navy you buy here in the Gallente Federation and Gallente stores. Now, it's always good to check the market details. As we see, Caldari Navy antimatter is 534 per bullet. So if I was going to buy several thousand of that, that's going to be a lot of money. But the Federation Navy was slightly cheaper. But what both of these do, these just simply add 15% damage over and above normal Tech 1 antimatter. So our damage would go up to 180. But it's quite a lot of money, and I figured I had enough, so I didn't really need those. So we're just going to use Tech 1 antimatter, because Tech 1 antimatter charge is 27 per round instead of 530. So yes, significantly cheaper. So this is enough to kill Dagan at the end. But when we mouse over, the range is between 8.5 kilometers and 14. That's not good enough. We need to be further away for Kristan Parthus. Now, each of these ammunition types is on a linear scale from antimatter at the bottom, which is high damage, short range, and all the way out to iron. Iron is the longest range but does the weakest damage. As we see, the damage goes down to only 65.2, but the range goes out to 27 to 33. That's a little bit maybe too far away. We only need to keep Kristan Parthus at about 25. Although we don't want to keep him at 25 because that's right on his range. So we want to be slightly beyond that, say 26, 27. So we'll see if there's anything a little bit more damaging than that. And I ended up plumping for tungsten. Optimal range 24, fall off range 30. We'll keep Kristan Parthus at something like 27, and we'll hit him with 78.3 DPS. It should be enough to kill him. He's a big, slow target, so we shouldn't miss him all that much. We should get good quality hits, and it should be enough damage to kill him. For the rest of the arc, most of the arc is going to be run using lead. Lead is the middle of the road, middle range, middle damage. 104 DPS is more than enough for the Epic Arc. I really wanted it for the range, so you can keep things at like 22k, which means I have to move less, which is going to speed me up. But that's the fit. I reckon this is going to be good enough to do the Epic Arc. To find the Epic Arc, you go to the agency and agents and missions and click the Epic Arcs card. And the only one available to you at the start of the game is the Bloodstained Stars. So let's set destination and we'll go and start the Epic Arc. I'm just going to do jump cuts pretty much straight to the end of the Epic Arc when I'm fighting the two bosses. This is going to take me all day to do, by the way. When you're good and you have a really good fit, like I have on my main character in EVE Online, I can do the entire Epic Arc in a little over 2 hours. And I do mean a little, like 2 hours 3 minutes is my personal record. This is going to take me all day in this ship. There is maybe one other mission of note. One mission requires you to have 150 cubic meters of space. That's fine. I have 450. And another one of them makes you use a civilian relic analyzer to hack something, and that needs a mid-power slot. I can't really lose my cat battery because I need that to run all my modules. So for that, I will just be removing the afterburner and moving really slowly. Well, that's fine because we've got long range ammo anyway. Just before we go, two other things I need to mention are these expert systems which are granted to us from the Air Career Programme. These are effectively skill rentals. This will give you all of these skills at all of these levels. So it will give Amar Destroyer 3, Kildari Frigate 3, Medium Drone Operation 1, Control Burst 3, Gallente Destroyer 3. It will give you all these for a period of 3 days. So if I'm starting to struggle, what I will do, I will just consume one of these and get all these skills, and that will push me up over the limit. As we see, the total training time, if I was to train all these skills manually, it would take me damn near 50 days to do it. And the Soldier of Fortune is very similar. It's got very similar skills. Surgical Strike, Sharpshooter, Trajectory Analysis, Gallente Frigate, Control Bursts, Cat Management, Motion Prediction, all good stuff which will aid us. And that one's very nearly 52 days of training. So if my 156 DPS is not enough, then I'll just take these and that'll be fine. But anyway, hopefully I'll meet you for Kristan Parthus. Wish me luck, and away I go. And a few very pleasant hours later, here we are in the second last boss of the whole arc. The arc has been absolutely easy. I've never been in any danger at any point. If you have a look at the fit and look in the cargo, there's a civilian relic analyzer that was given to me by one of the agents. All I did, I took off the afterburner, reduced the speed to 304 meters a second. But it was fine because I just changed over to tungsten charge, which let me engage at like 30 kilometers, killed everything, slow boated my way up there, hacked the can, got the thing and warped out. That's been the only change to the fit. I've just been using lead charge. I started with 6,000, I'm down to about 2.5. It's been really, really easy. One other thing we've done, well, lots of other things we've done, is that we have, just by dint of doing the Epic Arc, earned all these rewards in the Air Career Programme. Complete 20 Epic Arc missions. I've probably done about 30 or 40 at this point, so we can claim that. Complete 1 level 1 security agent, visit high-sec systems in 5 different regions, complete 1 mining agent mission. I didn't do any mining, just that one of the agents along the way must have been in the mining division, and that gives us that reward. And all these other rewards that I have done have just been passive from doing the Epic Arc, so we'll just claim them all anyway. There they are, and now when we mouse over the tracker, we're at 1,275 points on the way to our 1,500 next goal, which means we're what, 225 away from getting another 75,000 skill points? There are ways you can do this during the Epic Arc. If you go to the Enforcer, Career, Combat, if you manage to kill 300 enemy ships, I've killed 208, so kill another 250 and then 300, you'll get 40 career points for that and 50 for that, so that's 90 career points right there just for killing some more things. Combat sites, if I'd completed some combat sites along the way, I would have got another 10 25, it's 35, and another 50, it's 85. Add that to the 95, that's 106.70 something. I mean, it's not difficult to rack this up. And of course, whilst killing things, you'll be racking up the bounties. So if you do lots of combat sites, you'll rack up the bounties as well. That's another 50 points right there. I believe the Explorer one also has combat sites. Yeah, just entering combat sites will give you... We've got that one, that's 10. So that'll give us another 15, 35, 65. There's another 65 right there. So if we just entered every combat site we saw along the way of doing the Epic Arc, we probably would have hit the 1500 threshold. I didn't have time for that. You find these combat sites, you go to Agency, then Exploration, Combat Anomalies. These are the things you want. Things like Serpentis Refuge, Serpentis Hideaway, Drone Cluster. I'm recording this during the Crimson Harvest event, so don't try Class 1 and Class 2 Buyer Cybernetic Incidents. They'll probably destroy you. Hey, there's another one, Serpentis Refuge. Don't do Crimson Gauntlet. Serpentis Den, probably don't do that, but fly around with your probe scanner open and complete refuges, hideaways, burrows, drone clusters as you go, and you'll probably rack up enough points to get to 1500. And then you'll have 75,000 more skill points to dump into all the skills to improve the fit even more. Oh, look, we've got all this garbage now. This is all the stuff we've just claimed. We'll just highlight all these skill books and inject them just to get them on the character sheet at level 0. And we've got some more boosters and a little shield extender as well for some reason. Let's have a look at these boosters. What does the hard shell do? Increases the armour repair amount and the shield booster amount by 5% for half an hour. Well, that's quite good. If we get into trouble, we can consume that. What's this one? Minus 6% capacitor recharge time, base duration 2 hours. But there is a requirements tab here. This one actually requires a biology skill level, which only takes 17 minutes to train, so I could have bought it and passively trained it, but I couldn't be bothered. And this lets you take all kinds of boosters and other combat drugs, the biology skill. The biology skill also has the nice effect of increasing the duration of any of your cerebral accelerators, which accelerate your skill training. Each level increases the duration by 20%, so at level 5 it doubles the duration, therefore doubling the number of skill points you get. What's this agility booster? Minus 10% ship inertia. That's a good thing, because it's reducing your inertia, which makes you more agile so you can turn faster. That's a good one. And a mining yield booster. Not going to be needing that for combat. As you see, both of the expert systems are here. I've never had to use them, and hopefully we won't have to use them now. One thing I did forget to tell you is, why are we doing this Epic Arc? What's the point? Well, the point is to try and leapfrog level 1 missions and go directly to level 2. If we have a look at the character sheet, interactions and standings tab, these are all the people we've been working for, and this is what they think of us. It goes from minus 10 to plus 10. We've been working for the Gallente Federation career agents, that's why they've given us all these standings increases. We're at 0.73, and when you mouse over the top here, level 2 agents are available at 1.0. We only need a little bit more to get above 1.0, and we're going to get a lot more. See, if you add all these increases together, it comes at about maybe 1.7, 1.8, like 0.8, 0.9. We're probably going to get 0.58 or 0.6 from completing the Epic Arc, so that will push us way over 1.0. And that means, if we show info and click on Member Corps, every level 2 agent belonging to every single one of these NPC corporations, which is a member of the Gallente Federation, will be available to us. So we will not have to do the long, slow, boring grind from level 1 agents to level 2. We can go directly to level 2. A destroyer, like the one we have, can probably do most level 2 missions. Some of them are a little bit too hard. But then, by the time we finish the Epic Arc, we will have made enough money to buy a cruiser. And again, if you did more combat sites, you'd be able to have 75,000 skill points, and then you could train to cruiser as well. So by the end of your first day, you can be in a cruiser simply by doing this arc. Money-wise, we are on... You see, when you're a new player, if you just speak nicely to people, they just give you ridiculous amounts of money. That's what's happened here. I was going to say we're on 23 million, but someone gave me 100 million because I was nice to them in chat. So, yeah... Realistically, this character's on 23 million. Let me just get rid of this. And there we go. This character is actually on 23 million. And that's just because he's been getting bounty and he's been getting paid agent pay and bonus pay all the time, and it racks up over the 50-something missions that the Epic Arc is. So we've now actually got more than enough money to buy a cruiser and fit it out. So this is another reason why I'm doing this arc. Anyway, we're here to kill Kristan Parthus, so let's accept and do it. Right, let's right click all of these and reload them to tungsten. I've grouped my 8 guns into 4 groups of 2, just so I only have to press 4 buttons to turn them on, and usually putting 2 guns on one little frigate each is enough to kill them in a couple of volleys, so I'm not wasting all 8 guns on a single target. There is Kristan Parthus. Okay, he's only at 12. We need to actually keep him at range. And we need to set keep at range at 27 kilometers. So just do that and then click the button again and we will keep him at range at 27. Hopefully we'll be able to get out beyond 25 before he realizes we're here. These guys are getting 2 guns each and they're dying nice and quick. They would die quicker if I had lead ammo, but I've got the long range low damage ammo fitted at the moment. Good. Kristan didn't even notice what we were doing until we'd killed all his guys, and more of them are coming in, so let's keep them at range as well. Fall off range is 30, so we'll probably hit these guys. Okay, we got a little bit too close to Kristan. That's his energy drain, and again you get an icon in the overview that tells you that's what's happening. So we need to get further away, keeping Kristan Parthus at range 27. We need to hope we're fast enough to be able to get out of range. Yes, now the energy newt has gone away because we're far enough away. We are taking a decent amount of damage, but I think that's coming from the mercenary fighters firing missiles at me. The one problem with this fit is that it has basically 0 extra resistances. We've got 50, 35, 35 and 10. Half armor warning, not great. If we need to, we'll just warp out. Okay, we've got another one dead. So that's less damage. I think it's these mercenary fighters firing missiles at me that's doing all this damage. That's the big explosions. Okay, just us versus Kristan. Let's reload all the guns. And the armor should start going back up now. We'll probably get the low armor warning again when it goes back above 50%. Not quite. Okay. Yep, there it goes. Oh, that's going to be annoying if it's going to bounce around between 50%. The low armor warning and low health warnings can be configured by clicking this and going to configure ship health alert settings. Unfortunately, they're not quite smart enough to realise you only want them to... Well, the sounds will play every time it hits 50%, whether or not it's going up above 50 or going down below 50. That can be a good thing, because sometimes you may want an alert to go off like when your shield reaches like 75%. To tell you to turn it off because you don't need to be boosting your shield anymore. He is hitting us because we're keeping him at range and not orbiting him. Maybe we'll try orbiting him at 27. Then we'll be moving across his field of fire instead of keeping ourselves lined up, so he should miss us a lot more now. We should still hit him because he is a large, slow battle cruiser. We are a small, fast destroyer firing small railguns at him. So our railguns should be able to track him even though we're now spiralling around him. I just see the damage has fallen off. Our tank is going back up. We're slowly breaking his armor. It's going to be quite a slow battle this, but I'd rather fight outside his energy neutralization range. Because if he drains our capacitor, the guns stop working, the afterburner turns off. We can no longer repair ourselves, and then it's bad times. Oh, I've actually run out of tungsten. That's not great. Okay then, let's go buy some more tungsten rounds. God damn. Actually run out of ammo. That's just infuriating.
Warp drive active.
I wondered why my gun wasn't reloading. It's because we don't have enough in cargo to reload it. Oh well, we'll just leave and come back. He's repaired himself because we stopped shooting at him, but that's the way it goes. Oh, that was embarrassing. I thought 2,000 rounds would be enough. Obviously not, because the damage is so low, it takes a lot more ammo to kill him. After a very quick trip back to the station, we're back on the hunt. When you dock at a station, your shields and capacitor are automatically refilled. Your armour and hull are not automatically repaired. You have to pay for that. Oh, he's moved quite some way away, so we'll just keep him at range 27, get back into range, and then we'll orbit him. Right click the orbit button, set default, I've set it to 27,000. We're in range to target lock him now. He'll be fully repaired as well because we warped out. But that won't last for long. There we go. I bought 2,500 ammo, that should be enough to kill him. Well, I would bloody well hope so. But yeah, fighting outside of 25 kilometers is most definitely the way to handle this guy. Because he will drain your capacitor really rather quickly. And on ships like this, which requires capacitor to fire its weapons and to keep its repair unit running, you kind of need capacitor, otherwise you're going to die. Another thing I'm kind of keeping an eye on is my hit quality. Glances off and grazes do less than your listed damage. A hit does basically your listed damage. Penetrates and smashes do above your listed damage. And a wreck is a very rare shot, and that does triple damage. So what you're looking for is hit, penetrate and smash. You don't want to see too many glances off and grazes. We're getting quite a few because we're kind of further towards our fall of range than our optimal. Your hit quality is directly linked to your accuracy. So the more accurate you are, not only will you hit more often, but you'll get better quality hits. And if you get really accurate, then you'll pretty much always be doing hits, penetrates and smashes, which means you'll actually be doing over and above the DPS listed on your fitting screen. But Kristan Parthus is very nearly dead. Boom, there he goes. Oh, he's dropped some loot. Let's go and have a look. This is one of the mission items that teleports on board your ship for some reason. Some of them will spawn in a cargo can you have to go and pick up in space. Others teleport on board your ship. This was done because a lot of unscrupulous players were using combat probes to find other players, jumping into the mission, stealing the mission item and ransoming it back to you. They can still do that because not every mission item does this. It's only certain ones which do it. So the developers must have seen which missions were being griefed like that the most and changed them to teleport the item on board your ship. But they should have just done them all, in my opinion. With that kind of thing, you either do all or nothing. Because people will very quickly work out which missions are not anti-grief like that, and will start griefing in those. It's just generic random loot. I was hoping he might have dropped a nice big medium-sized gun that'd be worth 100,000 or so, but it doesn't really matter.
Warp drive active.
One boss down, one to go. So fighting outside 25 kilometer range, that's the key for beating this guy. Again, we've only got, 70-something DPS? 78.3 DPS, and that was enough to kill him. So you really don't need very much damage, apart from the final boss, but you need basically double that, and then some. And that's what we're about to do right now. Right, let's complete that mission. And when you request the next one, this is where you get to pick which of the 4 empires you want to work with, and therefore which empire you will get a massive whack of standings for. So we want to make sure we're doing the Gallente commander, because that will, again, boost our Gallente way over 1.0. If you want to change your mind, you can do either Caldari, Minmatar or Amar. Now, why has Amar gone down, even though we've been working for Gallente Federation? You'll see this is a derived modification. This is because when we show info on Gallente Federation and click on the standings tab and find Amar Empire, you'll see that the Gallente Federation dislike Amar -2. and Amar Empire, just like Gallente Federation, -2 right back at them. So every time you increase your Gallente Federation by a certain amount, you will lose a slightly smaller amount against the Amar Empire. So why has Caldari State gone down a lot more than Amar Empire? Well, again, if we find Caldari State here, where is it? Well, these guys hate each other. -5 and -5. So that's why Gallente Federation is at 0.73 and Caldari State is -0.073, because they hate each other a little bit more. -5 is pretty much as low as the 4 empires get with each other. So you will notice that working for Gallente Federation, the gains are always more than the derived losses. So if you go and work for each of the 4 empires in turn and balance them out, eventually you will rise all of them up to the same level. But the good thing about this Epic Arc is that the massive gain it gives you comes with no derived gains or losses. We've gained stuff with Minmatar Republic because they're friends with the Gallente Federation, if we can find them here. Minmatar Republic and Gallente are 5.0 positive to each other, so they like each other. That's why we're at 0.37 with them. So we will get a static rise with only Gallente Federation. We will not rise any higher with Minmatar, but we will not go any further down with Amar and Caldari. It's just an instant big uptick. And you can repeat the Epic Arc every 90 days, so maybe in 90 days time I'll come back and do it and pick Caldari State at this stage, in which case we'll get a big uptick with that, and that'll go like 0.6 positive or something. So that's how you can balance out your faction standings as well. But anyway, we're here to work for the Gallente Commander, so we'll accept this choice, set the destination, and we'll go and speak to this guy and get the final mission. And a couple of jumps later, here we are at the final agent, our man Dagan. Destroy Dagan's ship and bring him back to your agent. It's in this system, so let's accept. Get a move on.
Warp drive active.
And going in with lead charge S fitted, which is our regular one, because he will have 3 attendant frigates. So we'll need to get rid of them first, and then reload to antimatter, set up a nice orbit right on our optimal range. We warp in the middle of a fight, all but 3 of these frigates will die. Let's get this one first. That was a very quick fight. There's Dagan himself. So we'll just keep this escort. We'll just open fire from here. We'll just wipe out these escorts. They'll just be annoying otherwise. Dagan himself doesn't hit all that hard, as I've said. This red laser beam he's firing at us is a target painter. This makes the signature radius of our ship appear larger, so we appear larger on scopes, so we take more damage from things like missiles and indeed any kind of weapon. But it's really not a huge issue. It does not by itself do any damage. Right, that's 2 out of 3 escorts gone. Let's just get the last one. Target lock Mr. Dagan. And orbit. I have already set the orbit path to where I want it, which is 8,500 kilometers, which is exactly our optimal range. So the ship will just pull away until it hits that, and then it will start orbiting. Now we need to pay attention to our hit quality again. Again, we want to see lots of hits, penetrates and smashes. And we want to see Dagan misses you completely, or anything Dagan does hit us with to be a graze or a glance, maybe a hit. This looks pretty good. We're getting the hits, hit, smash. There's a graze, hit, penetrate, smash, hit, glance off, hit. We're a little bit outside of our orbit path. See, we are trying to orbit him at 8,500, but because of our agility and because we're moving really fast, we can't quite do that. So what we'll do, we'll just change your orbit path to 8,000 and then click the button again. And now we're orbiting him at 8,000. So we'll move in a little bit more. We'll spiral in a little bit tighter. So hopefully we will actually be on our weapon's optimal range of 8.5. That looks pretty good. Penetrate, penetrate, graze, penetrate. Hit, 3 penetrate and a smash. Hit, penetrate, glance off, not great. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Lots of penetrates and smashes. Yeah, he's getting hits on us, and then he missed. Then he glanced off. The numbers in red are the damage we're taking, which are just glances and misses, so happy days. In return, we're doing penetrates, smashes. I'm seeing a few glances off from us to him, but it can't really be helped. What we could do is turn the Afterburner off, which will slow us down, which will aid our own turret accuracy. We'll just do that for a little while. If we start taking too much damage, because of course us being slower makes us easier to hit as well. So I'm looking for our hit quality to no longer have any glances off or grazes. Having said that, we just did 3 grazes in a row. But we're also looking for Dagan to keep missing us and grazing us. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that'll do. Slowly grinding him down. We're 15 shots away from having to reload, but hybrid weapons reload in only 5 seconds, so it's not a huge issue. Missiles and projectiles reload in 10 seconds, and rapid missiles reload in 35 seconds. Laser crystals reload instantly, but when you're using Tech 1 laser crystals, you never need to reload because they never run out. Which is one advantage that lasers have. We're slowly grinding him down. He does have very high resistances, as we see. And he does repair both his shield and his armour. That's a reload cycle. It only takes 5 seconds. Back in action. Reapplying the damage. So he can and will repair himself periodically, but we are grinding him down. He's about to start taking hull damage. When he starts taking structure damage, he drops pretty quickly. Yeah, looks like we can indeed kill him with just 156 DPS. Because we are firing kinetic and thermal. He's second weakest to kinetic, second highest resistance is thermal. We're doing mostly kinetic, 50 kinetic and 36 thermal. So 156 DPS is fine. Even though he's firing 75% of his damage is explosive and hitting our explosive resist of 10, we're fine. Here he is, he's about to explode. There he goes, and he does spawn in a cargo container, so let's go and get him. So players can and will scan you down, come in here, kill Dagan, steal him out of the cargo container and ransom him to you for about 10 million ISK. Because they will know by this point of the arc you will have brought in at least 10 million ISK. That's EVE Online for you.
Warp drive active.
Let's speak to the agent, tell him we've got Dagan, there we are. And this is the final mission of the Epic Arc. Mission number 54, Del Signo Alfine. Take Dagan and put him in jail. And we get 1 million ISK for doing this. So let's go and do it.
Warp drive active.
Got him on board, in chains. Let's hand him over. And here we are in the final mission space. There's representatives from all 4 empires here. We just drop him in that cargo can. And he's taken away by a massive drone, which will warp in over here. And the drone will deal with him. There's the drone hive. There's one battleship from each of the 4 empires. There he is, in prison. And the Wreath will hand him over to the drone. The drone will disappear back in warp space. And now we can complete the arc.
Warp drive active.
Here we go. Complete mission. Done. Epic Arc done. And let's check our standings now. Massive great big tick. Plus 0.649. Boom. Now there is a skill we could have put some skill points into under the social tree called Social. If you're Alpha, you can only train the first 3 levels because levels 4 and 5 are blocked off by these yellow pips, which tell you that is blocked off to free-to-play players. Social gives you 5% bonus per level to NPC, agent, corporation and faction standing increases. So that 0.649 would have been increased by 15% more than that. There we are, 1.38. We now have access to all level 2 agents for the whole of the Gallente Empire NPC faction. We've got 25 million ISK, which is more than enough to buy a cruiser. And to get a cruiser, we would just do some combat sites. Oh, we've completed an Epic Arc. We've got a reward bundle, so we'll claim that. No more rewards to claim. As I said, just do some combat sites, which will get you the bounties and kill enough enemies and combat. Combat is kill lots of enemies. We're on 221 enemies defeated. Only need another 79 to get that maxed. So you get points for entering combat sites, you get points for completing combat sites, you get points for killing things, and you get points for earning bounties. We do not need all that many now. We're on 1325. Just need another 175 points. That will take you no time at all. That will give you 75,000 skill points, which you can put 2 more levels of Gallente Destroyer, because you need level 3 to get Gallente Cruiser, and then you can do level 1 Gallente Cruiser, and then you have access to all these cruisers on the very first day of EVE Online. So the question was, can a 1-day-old character complete the Sisters of Eve Epic Arc? And the answer to that is yes, they can, at least for Gallente. Come back next time and we'll try the 4th and final faction, which I believe is Minmatar. So until you come back for that, do look after yourself, and I'll speak to you again soon.